are listening to Pub Royalty Queen podcast, a place to empower women of color in the music business. Welcome to Pub Royalty Queen podcast. This is your host, Janisha Jones, back with another special guest. This time we have Monique Williams. Monique is a music manager and marketing consultant. I've had the pleasure of getting to know Monique as we're both advocates for women of color in the music industry. She just exudes big boss energy, so I knew I had to have her on the show. So without further ado, welcome Monique to Pub Royalty Queen podcast. How you feeling, girl?
I'm feeling great. I'm very excited to be here. I know it's been a long time coming, and I'm really excited to kind of be on the show and kind of give my 2 cents on everything music related. So very happy to be here.
Love it. Yes. Thank you so much for your time. And I know that your experience will offer itself to inspiring other women of color to enter into this business. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. Why don't you tell us about your journey through the music industry and the roles that led up to you becoming a music manager and marketing consultant?
Yeah. So my first ever job was actually in high school, surprisingly. I was interning it was back then called Clear Channel. So right now it's called iHeartMedia. So I was doing promotion stuff, basically just like cutting cue cards, making little prize baskets, helping the promotions team. Kind of got to see how the backstage process of radio show was kind of happening. So that was really cool. I did that for, I think, a semester in high school. And then after that, I went to college at Loyola Marymount University, which was in LA. At the time, I really wanted to get into music. I wanted to work at a label, of course. Everyone, that's their first when they get into the music industry. They're like, I want to work at a label, like especially kids born in the 90s. Like you saw that boom of labels and all the cool people were working there. So I randomly mentioned it to someone who had a random connection to someone who was hiring interns at Atlantic Records. So I got myself an interview and I landed it. I ended up working at Atlantic Records as an intern and then moved on so Warner Music Group owns Atlantic Records. So then ended up also being an intern for Warner Music Group, and then ended up being an A&R assistant for LaToya Lee, who at the time was director of Worldwide Urban A&R, and Eitan Ben-Horn, which I'm pretty sure still is like director of Global Pop A&R for Warner. So this was like just right when Mike Caren had hired them and they were kind of just figuring out their own places. So I really got to see how A&R in the hip hop world kind of was facilitated, and then got to work with Eitan on projects that he was doing in the pop world. So during that time, I think Flo Rida was big. So they did a bunch of his songs. Jason Derulo had all of his songs that were going on. We did Fast and Furious with Charlie Puth. We did Trey Songz Trigger album. So it was a really cool kind of, to get to hear the songs before the artists cut them, get to figure out like how the songs were made, all of that. But quickly, I learned that A&R was not what I wanted to do. I think people really think it's a glamorous, all you do is listen to music, but it is very time consuming, and it is, you really have to be obsessed with the creation of music. So once I decided that A&R wasn't for me, I graduated college and I got a job at Live Nation in VIP Nation, which is basically helping curate VIP packages and deal with like the super big arena tours and kind of curate those VIP sectors of ticketing and stuff like that. So I worked in that area for a little while right out of college, and then I went to ICM Partners. I kind of wanted to be more on the talent side than the promoter side. So I worked at ICM Partners under Mari Davies. I got to work on really cool tours like SZA's tour, Kehlani's tour, so many. Kodak Black was our client at one point. So big tours, big festivals. I did that for about 2.5 years, learned so much. I think anyone that works at an agency knows how intense it is. And you really have to, it has to become your life basically if you want to survive. And I did not want that for the rest of my life, but it taught me so much. And I think once you work at agencies, you realize that like you can honestly do anything. It's like a boot camp. So from there, I honestly took a break from music because I was so exhausted. And marketing's my background. It's what I did in college. I left the music industry for a while and went to Lucasfilm in marketing. So I worked on Star Wars across the whole franchise, whether it was movies, the TV shows, the park, games, books, all of that. So it was
That's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was cool because I got to learn how to market from the biggest brand in the world and kind of see how they do it. And marketing is very, it's something that you can really learn in one sector and apply it to other areas. And music is kind of like that. So I was able to take what I learned in marketing Star Wars and kind of apply it to artist marketing or, other jobs that I've had since. So since Lucasfilm, I went to Beetroot, which is a music distribution company. I was a marketing manager there. And so that was basically just focusing on artist marketing, DSP marketing. So what that is like taking our clients that we had signed for distribution and helping them with their rollouts, helping them kind of put their best foot forward in terms of their streaming strategy. And then also pitching them to Apple Music, Spotify, all of the streaming platforms to be playlisted, but also for their marketing campaigns. So like Apple Music has Up Next, Spotify has campaigns. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. And then I moved over to Afropunk as the marketing director for Afropunk. I know you introed me as that, but I've actually since left. But Afropunk was great for the time that I was there. So I was marketing festivals, making sure that the overall brand was cohesive outside of festivals, because they do a lot outside of festivals. They do, we have a whole website, we have brand deals that are going on, we have content that goes out. So it's all of that marketing, including the smaller events that we have, and then the bigger festivals. We have 4 festivals in 1 year. So
wow, that's crazy. I love how you were able to have like bits of many different parts of the industry, and good on you to learn what fits for you too.
Yeah.
Because I think to your point, when we go into this business, all of us do want to become A&Rs, right out the gate, and then quickly you learn that it is a 24-hour job and you can't turn it off, and it's very time consuming. It's a lot of energy that's being exerted into those places, and then you're having to deal with many different personalities all the time. So I can imagine it being very exhausting, but it also doesn't sound like you've let up either. Like you've gone from that to marketing for festivals and these giant artists. It's like that's a huge thing too, a huge responsibility. So how did you decide that marketing was the place for you?
Well, now I also manage artists, and then I just do marketing consultant for other artists. So I think it's just like so versatile. Right now, working at a distribution company like Beetroot, it kind of taught me the new age is like marketing and technology. So it's like that intersection. And I think a lot of people are still learning. And I like to do the research and find the new tools and do all of that. And I don't like gatekeeping. So like on my Instagram, I like make these reels about like teaching people about the new marketing tools. A lot of it's just access and giving people the tools to succeed. And I like doing that. I like giving people knowledge so that they are able to fish themselves. I don't want to just be someone that they have to come to me in order to like have these tools and do it yourself. Yeah, for sure. So yeah.
That's such a huge part of this business now. And I think that it's probably speaks to our generation too, like how we were having to access the gatekeepers for the information. And now being that we understand what that means and how difficult that can be in expanding on your career, being able to share that information and that knowledge is so pivotal for us. It's like part of our giving back to the community. So amazing that you're able to do that.
Yeah.
What about mentors? Like, have you had mentors in this space, and how important are they for, elevating in your career?
I honestly got very lucky, and early on when I was at Warner Music Group, LaToya Lee took me under her wing and really helped keep me close to her and gave me tips and tricks. And, when I was ready to move on, she told my next boss that she should hire me. So I was able to have a Black woman kind of help me in that space when I was first starting out as an intern and helped me to the next stage. And that boss was also a Black woman. And I still text her for things, maybe connections that I need or to run certain things by her. So I kind of got lucky in having a few Black women that were older than me kind of help me out. But I think the thing that has really helped me more than anything is women in the industry that are on the same level as me have probably helped me more than any mentor, which when you say mentor, usually it's like people who are a little more seasoned in the game. From ICM, I have like a group of about like 5 to 6 women who we all kind of started together, and we're all in completely different positions in our career now, different companies, different departments. And we just always text each other about anything that we need. So it's really, to me now in this season, it's about rising together and helping each other out more than like looking for someone who is more seasoned.
Absolutely. No, honestly, that was gems right there, because I feel the same way. The majority of people that seem to be lifting me up are my peers, are the people that are, they need things too. And so we can collaborate with one another. I have strengths and and weaknesses, and they're able to kind of balance that out with me. So I completely resonate with that. Mentorship is extremely important though. Like, we don't want to just say,
Sure.
But at the same time, yeah, we definitely need to do a lot more cross collaboration. And I see that with our generation more often than not, us reaching out to each other and, hey, like, even without, in terms of work related, just, hey, girl, I see you over there.
Yeah.
Like, you need, like, like, I thought about you today, what's going on with you? Is there anything that you want to, like, let off your shoulders or what have you? So I think there's a lot of camaraderie that's happening between us right now, and that sisterhood is so important. Part of the reason why I started this podcast was because of the stigma that women of color are catty, or we can't work with one another. And I just find that so inaccurate. Like, I haven't had that experience.
I think the music industry, and when I was maybe first starting off, it had a little bit of like the crabs in a barrel mentality, and people thought that's what it was going to be. But even like working at an agency, you can't survive by yourself if you're your own isolated island. Like, you need the help, assistance around you and the members around you, or you're going to fall flat on your face. And I think that kind of completely like takes you out of that quickly, and is like, you need to get it together. And if you want to survive, you have to get rid of that mentality. So
part of that establishing longevity in this business is learning to network and learning to be a likable person and approachable and all of those things, right?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of challenges that women of color face in the music industry. Can you describe for us one challenge that you've had to overcome?
Oh gosh, a lot of challenges. I will give you probably something that has been the most frustrating for me as of recent is I've encountered a lot of ageism, surprisingly. I've been in the music industry for 12 to 15 years. I started very young, but I also have the credentials, like I know what I'm talking about. And I think getting to director level so young, I have friends that are a year or two younger than me that are VPs now, and they deal with the same thing. We've done the work. We've gotten to a place where we earned the title that we are, and we have, and we're supposed to be in this position. And I think that's hard for some people to wrap their heads around. And because of that, a lot of times, for lack of a better word, we get sunned a lot. People try to invalidate you, invalidate your credentials, invalidate your knowledge, because they can't wrap their head around how someone of your age could have the
Mm.
knowledge you have because they're at their age in the same equal or lesser position.
Woo, that is a bar right there, sis.
So yeah, I've definitely been dealing with that, but at the same time, in the same hand, sexism all the time. So I manage artists. Many years I've managed multiple Black rappers.
Mhm.
And the most annoying thing is like people will go into the studio session and say hi to everyone and then like skip you.
Wow.
And the worst is just because like they think like I'm the girlfriend, you know?
Right,
And
right.
no,
Or the help.
actually, I'm probably the most important person in this room that you should have
Facts.
planned.
Yes.
Because all the homies don't really care.
Right.
Like that doesn't do anything for you. So, but I've been blessed to have really good clients that check that for me, that I don't have to do that myself. If they skip me, they'll be like, oh, this is Monique, this is my manager. So there's no assumption. I don't have to get out of my character to correct you. So yeah, I definitely think, and then if for some reason my person that I manage doesn't do that, I'm like, make sure that you introduce me as your manager. Sometimes people think one thing when it's just not that. But yeah, the girlfriend, it's the girlfriend thinking it's all of that. And I'm like, oh God, Jesus. And then I even thought recently, something was so annoying. I was at an event and someone who was from the brand was like, oh my God, like, I didn't even know that was you. Like, you're so beautiful. I didn't expect you to look like that. And I'm just like,
oh my goodness. Oh, it's all the
so
things.
it's just young, pretty, you're always battling something. And it's just like, yeah.
Girl, like I find the same thing with me as well. Like humbling. People always want to humble you.
Yeah.
Like
And I'm not that one.
And especially I'm in music tech, so I'm building platforms from scratch for Empire. I'm dealing with people that, to your point, first of all, they're men. So they automatically feel like they're more competent than you. But then,
especially that world.
yeah. And then, having to be mansplained to all the time. And I am the kind of person that's like, okay, you can say what you want to say, but the work speaks for itself. So we'll see. We'll see. But there are times that, to your point, being sunned by somebody else, I think what you need to have in order to be in this business is to have that confidence and reassurance to advocate for yourself and say, no, actually, I'm here for a reason. I'm overqualified most of the time. Black women are the most educated group in America. So, and then at the same time, we don't come into this industry off of our relationships. It is based off of our grit and our tenacity from the ground level. So 9 times out of 10, we worked harder to get where we are, no matter how young we are or how pretty we are. And I feel like you and I probably have the same integrity. I always wanted people to see what I had up here. Like, this is nice. This is nice if it appeals to you. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not using this to get where I need to be.
For sure. It was difficult in the beginning because I would like go to my jobs, whether it was Atlantic or Warner, and like purposely not wear makeup or purposely like not dress how I wanted to.
Wow.
Because, a lot of the older people in the game, like they feel the same way, but they took it to the level of like, you have to dress for how you want to get treated. And I'm at that age, like, especially if you see like what I present on socials, it's like, I'm going to be me and I'm going to
unapologetic about it.
I'm going to be unapologetic, but just like multifaceted. Like people are not one thing. Like just because I'm a music manager doesn't mean that I can't post this selfie on the gram. Like I get to do whatever I want. And if that means posting this cute selfie of my face and also telling you that you should be doing X, Y, and Z for your career, you should still listen to me, just not invalidate me because I posted this selfie.
Exactly. So. And also, you're a marketing manager. I'm pretty sure you know what that means when you're posting something, you look nice. And that's the thing too, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with social media because I'm starting to realize a lot of the majority of the likes that I get are off of like me posting a selfie rather than me exposing an artist and showing what they're doing and, giving the facts about the industry. People don't really care.
That's happening to me now that I'm posting the stuff that I'm posting. But the funny thing is, like, I'll check my likes and I'll be like, oh, but then I'll go to those insights and it's the saves and the sends, like, oh, so y'all are talking, you're sharing,
Yeah.
you just aren't supporting in public. And you know what? That's fine, because it may not happen right now for me, but keep sharing, keep saving. It'll be fine.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's also, it's about the intentionality too. Like,
For sure.
when your social media is a place, it's salacious, like it's by design to be built that way. So, and like you said, to be a multifaceted person, there are many different things that you probably want to share that have nothing to do with the music industry, and people should, if you want to share that, they should be able to explore what that looks like. So I totally agree with what you said. I'm kind of struggling, I'm trying to find the balance too. Because, you're trying to be a boss out here at the same time,
Just gotta rip the Band-Aid off. Like, you gonna get this good content.
Exactly. No, that was amazing. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
So what would you say was your mama I made it moment? That moment that you knew you were headed in the right direction. And what characteristics do you attribute to having reached that point?
Oh, that's a hard one. I definitely think getting to the director level before I even hit 30 was a huge milestone for me, and something that I just was so excited about.
Huge.
Yeah. And I also think that sometimes you think that's what it's going to be. Like, you think that's like, oh, that's the I made it. And then I'm realizing now that it's like really just like living the lifestyle that you want to live. Like, I think that's the most important thing, that I'm like, I get to wake up every day. I get to talk to the clients that I like to talk to. Like, none of them are terrible. I actually enjoy them as people. I enjoy working with them. If I want to go to the gym at 11 a.m. in midday or 3 p.m., like, I could do that. If I want to go to the grocery store, I could do that. Like, I get to create my own life and my own schedule. And to me, that's the most freeing, because that for my parents' generations, for our grandparents' generations, that was unheard of. It's like, you have to work, you have to be at the office. And so I think, although maybe last year, a few months ago, I thought it was that title, and now that I don't have it, and now that I've moved away from it, it's more just so, like, I want to keep the peace of creating my own life for as long as I can.
I love that. Yes, it's called freedom.
Freedom.
You're not even like, it's not even about the title, because titles change, to your point, and some folks have titles without even earning them. So, at the end of the day, it might equate to more money for some people, so, but that's also just speaks to the freedom aspect of it, because money just gives you more access to things, right?
For sure.
So I feel the same way. My job is one in that I can do a large sum of work in one go, and then I'll wait for my developer to build it out. And so I have all this time to express creatively and to invest in the things that really fill, not that my job doesn't fill my soul, because that's
for sure
what I'm doing over there, but there are things that I speak more to my purpose in life, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like this is one of them. There are several other ventures that I'm participating in that are going to hopefully change the way the industry operates on a larger scale. But I'm really just like sitting in this freedom, like I have the time to express myself. I have the time to connect with different people. I have the time to express creatively in whatever avenue that looks like. So I completely understand. And yeah, I wish I could sleep a little bit later. My dog, she won't let me. She just,
puppy.
it's every morning, 7:30, like clockwork. I got to get up and walk her. But if it weren't for that, I feel like I probably would stay in a little bit more, but
Yeah,
I completely understand what you're experiencing, and good for you. Like, I feel like that is so important for us to put into perspective, that it's not just about climbing the career ladder, but finding that balance and not letting your job become your identity.
Yeah. I think early on there's been a few jobs that I've left and I have felt that loss of identity. And I think that once you feel that way by leaving a job, you need to kind of do some recalibration, because that shouldn't be happening. And I think a lot of people in the industry associate their identity with their job. And that could
Definitely.
be really world breaking if something were to happen, because to be honest, you are not what you do. You are so much more than that. And I think people have a really difficult time separating themselves from what they do and who they are. I struggle when someone's like, tell me about yourself. I'm like, I guess I'm going to go down my career rabbit hole. Like, that's not who I am, but I know that's
Right.
what the question is alluding to.
Right, especially here in LA,
Definitely.
because here in this business and in this particular city, people are looking for something like a transactional relationship. For me, I always like to connect with people on a deeper level. So we could talk about everything, politics, we can talk about esoteric things because I'm into that, like astrology and
Love that.
the power, the law of attraction. And I'm into some weird shit
Me
sometimes, but
too, honestly. I have my crystals, my altar, I got all that. So
yes, yes. So even deeper than just, I mean, obviously music is what connects us too, but at the same time, it's like we're so much bigger than this. Like we're just lucky and privileged that we get to make a living
yeah.
in this very competitive but exciting business that we're in. But yeah, I love what you said. What advice would you give to aspiring women of color in this business?
Try everything. Try all different facets of the business. Obviously, I kind of talked about like thinking being a label executive was the end all be all and what I wanted to do. And I realized quickly, like, that's not what I wanted to do. And then moved away from music. So it's like, just try as many things as you want in the industry,
Mm.
out of the industry, to really know what you want to do going forward, because you don't want to get to an age where you're in your 40s, 50s and be like, actually, I don't want to do this, which could very well happen. I'm
Mm.
not there yet. We also change as people. What we want to do and our purpose can change. But I just think try everything so that you know your likes and dislikes and all of that. So that's what I would say.
Perfect. No, and absolutely. Like there's so many different avenues you can go into in this business that you don't actually need to stay with one thing. And we do have the benefit of being in a society now that doesn't necessarily require us to stay with one skill
For
forever
sure.
and ever. So that's perfect advice. I wish a lot of people did understand that too. Like there's so many different avenues in this business outside of just being next to the artist. And that's part of my mission is to teach people there, like come to the operational side. There's money to be had over here. If you're
Yeah,
not trying to be on the camera all the time, like learn how to pay people. Like learn, you know what I
exactly.
mean?
And there's also like the industry is changing so much. The job that you will probably end up having sometimes is not even created yet. Like their streaming platforms
Yeah.
didn't exist when, or distribution companies didn't really exist when
Yeah.
we were younger. So it's like they're all just being created. The industry is going to completely continue to change. TikTok was
Exactly.
around. So it's like there's so much that you can do. And if you don't know what you want to do, maybe it's because it hasn't been invented yet. So
And it's probably on you, right? Take the
exactly.
responsibility and the ownership to step into that role. To your point, like the technology is changing so rapidly right now that it's like you really can go in any direction. So I think it's about really tapping into the research of what's being pushed out there right now and learning how to create something that's tangible or intangible now because we're going into the virtual reality world.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you have some insight into that too. Like, what does the VR experience look like for an artist and marketing perspective?
A lot of people are looking into creating metaverses. So it's like whole worlds that are dedicated to either certain labels or certain artists. So I know that there's some labels that are doing that. There's going to be so many people are doing it. I think we haven't seen a lot of them yet because a lot of people are still like creating them and working on it and seeing like what can work. But yeah, NFTs, metaverse, all of that. A lot of people are looking into doing that. A lot of companies that are already established are looking into kind of branch out into the metaverse. So I think there's a lot of job opportunities there. There's a lot of growth in terms of marketing, whether you're putting your merch in there, whether you're putting interactive games in your metaverse, you could literally do whatever you want in it. So there's a lot of opportunity for sure.
Creating your own world, creating your own ecosystem
Yeah.
within that space, the possibilities are really endless. I think, as someone who deals with tech, I kind of feel like we haven't yet caught up to it yet. Like it still feels like a very privileged place to be. Not everyone owns a VR set, not not everyone has the ability to have access to those things, even though I feel like, as time progresses, it'll become more of a norm. So we're definitely still in its infancy stages. This is where a lot of that, creative prowess comes into play. So it's an exciting place, but also like, I wonder if this is going to hold up.
For sure. I think people are still testing the waters and figuring it out to see if it's worthwhile. So
yeah, I'm curious. I'm here for it though. I'm thinking about some endeavors in the VR world myself. So we'll see. In what ways can women of color advocate for themselves and each other in this hyper competitive business?
It's a good one. Diversity. So like if you're already in institutions, kind of bringing up the fact that like, hey, I'm not the only token Black person here who's handling all of the content that is relating to diversity. Like we need to add some more people to our team. Just had a friend tell me something about that. Like they've been trying to advocate for more people of color, more Black people specifically on their team. So I definitely say, look at your surroundings. Just because you got through the door doesn't mean that the work is over. Also just like stand your ground. I've been in positions where, we always get like the bossy, unapproachable, all of that. And sometimes it's subtly, nicely correcting people that you're allowed to take up space and that you do not always have to present a certain way. Like if X, Y, and Z is getting done and your job is not outwardly facing, it doesn't really matter how you are coming off to people. And I think sometimes that's other people's issue, not yours. Yeah. So also just advocating for yourself in certain spaces and allowing yourself to take up space and not being apologetic for it, being unapologetic for it. I mean, so yeah, I think those are a few things that are really helpful. And I think Black women could really take into consideration in terms of navigating the industry and
all of that for sure. It's on us too. Like, I think the problem is that we're expecting for other people to kind of lift us up, but it's really because we are so few and far between, it's on us to do the work. It's on us to put ourselves in those positions and say, hey, I put in my work. I put in the time. I have the connections. It's my time.
And being that seat, for women like you too.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing too. I recently started a professional networking and executive leadership recruiting platform called The Seat with my business partner, which helps to employ people of color in leadership roles in this business particularly. And it's been such a huge draw for large corporations because they're now tapping into why they need to diversify and what it means to have diverse perspectives in their businesses because it drives profits, right? So to your point, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but I do see that a lot of companies are coming in to make some meaningful changes. I think so far what's been done is more like for optics, like, oh yeah, like we see that you guys are being treated unfairly, but also there's a sacrifice that needs to happen
for sure,
for other people to really balance the scale. So, it's on us to make those avenues more transparent to folks who are wanting to be allies and wanting to put us in those positions to be decision makers essentially and to drive our own narrative. That's the thing too about this industry, but entertainment in general, is that they capitalize off of us and what we bring to the table, and yet we're not the ones in the front seat. So there needs to be a reckoning,
For sure. And I think certain people have given up on that reckoning, but I feel like there's still hope and we just have to keep pressing forward.
Exactly. So what can we expect from Monique in the future? What are some things that you're working on that excite you at the moment?
Oh, so much. I have definitely been I'm going to be putting out more marketing tips across my socials, but I'm also working on an artist marketing course for people who are independent, for managers that kind of just need a little bit of help. It's going to go across everything from socials to digital marketing to brand marketing to literally everything, to platform streaming marketing. So really working on that now, hoping to have that out top of next year. But yeah, I think it's going to be super helpful. It's kind of just like, I've been getting good traction on the social pieces that I've been doing, but it's really just going to be like a whole comprehensive how-to. So people can really get the resources that they need.
That's awesome. So is it like, it's an ebook or is it a?
It's going to be an actual course. So it's not going to have like, they're going to have digital downloads and stuff like that, but you're actually going to be able to watch like modules and really learn instead of having to read like a long document. So it's going to be.
I would really love to plug your product when it's done on this podcast.
Yeah, I would love
that out there. Yeah. Maybe we can give the guests or the audience a discount to the course.
Yes, let's do it. That would be awesome. I'm in the early stages, still working through it, but I'm excited about it and I've been feeling really called to do it. So I think it's gonna be great.
That is really exciting. I'm happy for you. Good job. Yeah, love it. And also, where can people connect with you if they want to get in touch or just follow what you're doing?
For sure. So my Instagram is @mo.alexandra. My Twitter is _moalexandra. So either of those two platforms I'm pretty active on. So either one of those, you can reach out to me. I have content that I'm pushing out across those socials also. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, Monique, I just want to congratulate you on your success. And I really, really, really appreciate you for being on the show. We got to connect. We're out here in LA. I don't know what you're doing for BET weekend, but I got you, girl. I'll get you plugged in out here. But again, thank you so much. And
thanks. Bye.
Remember, stay positive, inspired, and true to yourself. Go out there and kill it. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time on Pub Royalty Queen Podcast.